One thing I'd like to ask you about is, throughout this entire seminar, I hear you, attacking a lot of left-wing, I would say like, extreme talking points. One thing I would like to have a question about is when it comes to public education, you said that you wanted the department to be abolished, burned down to the ground.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate more as to like why you think public education is a problem?
Absolutely. So when things started going downhill in terms of the public education system is when they federalized it. Nothing good happens in the federal government. Nothing good. There isn't a single federal department that you can point to and say, hey, that runs expertly. I mean, DMV, talk about anything. Oh, that runs really well. We should really do more of that. The job of the government is to make sure that it has more employees, right? To make sure that government can grow. And their best way to do that is by creating a system of dependency. So it's counterintuitive. I'm a supporter of school choice. People should not be deemed to go somewhere that they're districted simply because of where they live. This is exactly what leads to kids going to bad inner city communities. And it's a huge reason why I am a conservative is because conservatives believe in school choice and they tell you that it's racist and it's wrong and there's no reason why a child should have to go to school based on where they live and not based on where their mother wants them to go to school with their tax dollars that they're paying into. So the Department of Education has been a remarkable failure. There's not a single piece of proof that shows you that people are not reading more, writing better, we're not better at math than we were when it's been established. How can you have anything that takes that much money from the American taxpayer that hasn't given you a single marker for how it's become successful and it still is allowed to exist? It doesn't make any sense, right?
That is a fact. I definitely agree with that, and I can't speak to that with 100% certainty. I haven't seen the statistics or read any statistics, but if there's nothing that you can point to that says, hey, this department has actually done some good, then why do we still have it? So, when Uncle Trump gets back in office, I'm hoping that that's one of the things that, he dismantles, that he goes in there like a bull in the china shop and completely gets rid of. Because, like I said, if it's true, and there's obviously more research that I need to do in terms of that, but if it is true, then our tax dollars shouldn't be going towards it, and thus possibly even lowering our taxes, as Republicans had already proposed, only having what was called, I think they were only proposing a consumption tax. So only when you want to spend the money that you have is when you'll be taxed. Other than that, I mean, I can't remember the exact proposal. I'm sure there was like a baseline tax of some sort, but yeah, maybe we could go to that as long as but we have to get rid of a lot of these bloated, stupid little areas, you even find that at some of these college universities. I think that's part of the reason why they're getting super expensive, and you guys can let me know in the comment section. I'm sure we have some college students, but this DEI, equity, inclusion, board of directors, or head of race relations, like what in the world? Like, they're just creating stuff at this point, just making up stuff. And throwing people in those positions at these colleges, and the cost is just doing this the entire time. Yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I think there's going to come a point in time where people are just like, I'm not going to college. And I think it might have already started. It hasn't taken hold to the point where colleges are like, oh, wait a minute. Our numbers are dropping a whole lot now. But I think eventually it'll get to that point. If these prices don't start coming back down, it's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten ridiculous. And I don't see how it's going to come back down unless they fire those folks, because those folks are going to want raises. Yeah, we made the university more diverse. Goodness gracious, man. But what do y'all think? Do you think there's some other areas of our government that we could just totally get rid of? Let me know. That wouldn't, be catastrophic to, the U.S. Let me know.
So, of course, I agree with you there. I feel like, the federal government is spending a lot of people's money on things that doesn't matter. Another point that you made throughout your event is that you feel like the cause for the deterioration of Black America was the absence of family. Mm-hmm. Do you not feel, and you specifically cited the Jim Crow era, do you not feel that the times during that era had any effect on that, or do you feel like those?
Well, it's an interesting study. So to be clear, I'm not arguing because this is how a reporter will take me out of context. But Candace demands Jim Crow comes back. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is that is so telling that during Jim Crow times, the Black American family was doing better. Why is that? Because we had to rely upon ourselves. Our families were together, and faith was at the center of not just the Black life, but the American life. And what happened, which Black people were given an opportunity to after slavery, was that families were able to come together. They understood the importance of family being together and better values being asserted. And so I'm not at all making an argument that somehow society would be better, but we should really try to learn the lessons of why it is that Black Americans have won in terms of segregation ending, in terms of race-based policies and initiatives being gone, and in terms of which is actually a big loss, the welfare policies. But everything that is shown is that we've gone backwards. We actually are doing worse than we were when we won all of these things. It's worth us having a discussion about it and realizing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with her. The family structure. And she's not the only one that I've heard say that. I remember somebody else saying it. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't even like a Republican figure or anything like that. Oh, man, who was that? But there was somebody else that said the same thing. And for the same exact reason. It was because the Black community came together and understood how important family was, because family was all you had, and wow, yeah, that's crazy. And once again, like she said, I'm not advocating for those terrible times coming back. Obviously, I don't want anybody to twist my words, as Candace Owens just said. That's not what either one of us are advocating for, okay? But like she said, I think it's worth looking into why Black people have kind of taken a step backwards since those times, since actually winning in some of the in some aspects, but losing in others. I think it's worth taking a look at, and I think the issue lies in the family structure. Right there, boom. One of the big issues is the family structure. What was it? I want to say Thomas Sowell had the statistic on Black kids born with a father in the home, a mother and a dad in the home was like at it was some high percentage. It was like 70 plus, and then it dropped down to like 30 something or less after that time period. So the importance of family and the necessity of family. And I've even talked to someone about this. Actually, I think I talked to you guys about it as well. I brought it up, and I said that we should take away all of these government programs that give people money. Take away government housing from a lot of folks. Obviously, there are some folks that legitimately needed, people that have disabilities and whatnot. That's not what I'm advocating for. That's not what I'm saying. People that actually truly need it, yes. But people that are being irresponsible, people that are having, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids and couldn't even afford the first one, you're not getting any assistance. You're not getting any assistance. You're not getting government housing. You're not getting food stamps, none of it. Now, for those that legitimately need it, that are being responsible, right? Of course, absolutely. If you had a terrible accident or something and you can't really work, or even if you are working, you're working, 45 hours a week, and you're barely making it and not really making it at all, because you have basically nothing. You're accumulating debt. Yeah, of course, you can get some help. You can get some help. You working 45 hours a week. I see you trying to put in work. Absolutely. You got a disability, had a terrible accident or whatever, was born. Yes, of course. But everybody else, nope, you cut off. And yes, those people would be out in the streets for a little while. Guarantee it. Because it would be a shock to the system. It would be a major shock to the system. And Democrats would scream their heads off. Oh my goodness, how could they do this to these people? Blah, 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 blah. But you know what would eventually happen? People would realize, oh, it's not coming back. Because initially people would think, nah, it's going to come back. This is just momentarily, they going to change their mind. Eventually it's going to kick in. It's not coming back. And then fight or flight is going to kick in. Sink or swim. And most people ain't going to want to sink. Truly sink. A lot of people live that way because they know, Big Brother government's going to step in. And Big Brother government's going to give me my housing, my food, going to take care of me. But when push comes to shove, people are going to step up. And all of these Democratic politicians and, community leaders who are going to be out there yelling in the streets are all going to come together. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to take care of one another. They're going to teach one another certain things to do in life to be successful. And then that is going to bring back some of those family-like structures. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below. I think Democrats want to keep, and this is just my humble opinion. This is just my opinion. I think Democrats want to keep black people down. I think that's intentional. Can't say that with 100% certainty. I haven't sat down with a Democratic politician or a Democratic strategist and they've revealed any information to me. That's never happened. This is just me speculating. This is just my opinion on what I've been seeing. I think it's intentional. You give a man a fish and he'll always be dependent upon you. But if you teach him, then you may never see him again. See what I'm saying? Y'all let me know if any of this is making sense to y'all. If y'all rocking with any of this, let me know. But let me finish this video real quick. I know that was long-winded, but I had to get that off my chest.
What happened? Thank you. I just want to give it to more people because I feel so bad.
Yeah. So this is just like a little quick question, like just for myself. Would you just be able to more elaborate, cite what areas Black Americans were thriving in during that time, just so I can.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Could you elaborate on what? Because you said that Black Americans,
economically,
were economically
per household, per household, how much money people had at that time. Black Americans have gotten poorer. There has been trillions of dollars given to the welfare system, and Black American families are poorer today than when they were. That makes entirely no sense.
Thank you.
Wow. So, yeah, to go back to that long story that I was telling there, eventually people would tighten up. Communities would come together. People would stop having kids all willy. And I can speak on it because I've seen it. Obviously, I'm not going to say names. You will never hear me say anybody's name. I will never call that's not my place. It's not something that I will ever do. But people will stop having kids all willy-nilly. Government ain't coming to help you. Dads will be forced to step up, or you're not getting any, you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you ain't stepping up, you're not clapping no cheeks. You're not getting any, you know what I'm saying? You're not getting any loving time, whatever you want to call it. You're not putting your dick in a vagina if you ain't taking care of your business. Dads will be forced to step up. Okay, that's what I think would happen. Communities will come together, and that'll be it. Will there be some people that may sink? Yes, it's an uncomfortable reality. But there's uncomfortable realities in everything in life. Look at war. You might be fighting for a good cause, but the uncomfortable reality is some people that walked out of their front door and hugged their loved ones goodbye will never do it again. But we fighting a good fight. We fighting for freedom. But the uncomfortable reality is some people will never get to experience that freedom ever again. They'll be in the dirt. And I'm not saying I don't have a heart for those folks, that will fall by the wayside or, sink, whatever that may mean. But I think for the Black community to truly take a step in the right direction, I think cutting off a lot of that stuff is necessary, in my humble opinion. That, and you bring a bunch of police into, high crime areas, right? And you lock the criminals up, you throw away the key, you stop giving away, super light sentencing, especially for repeat offenders. First time offenders, all right, I get it, first time offender, whatever, I understand. Everybody needs a chance. I get it. But 2, 3 times, now you should be in and out. Your second time, throw away the key. Get them off the streets. Get them off the streets. Right? And then you start dwindling down that police presence just a little bit. Not so much that people notice it right off the bat, because you don't want that. But you dwindle it down a little bit, Lighten it up. Just a little bit. You don't say anything, but you lighten it up. That'll clean up those communities. So now you have communities coming together because Big Brother government's not taking care of everybody. So everybody can't stay separate, right? Family structures are coming back together because moms are like, hey, government's not about to take care of me. You get me pregnant. So if you want to clap these cheeks, you better be taking care of your business. So now family structures are getting together. And at the same time, the streets are getting cleaned up. So now people feel safe going out in the streets. What does that do? That brings businesses into those areas. What do businesses do? Bring revenue into those areas. What does revenue do? Lower the likelihood of people going out to get revenue illegally. Just saying. But like I said, I'm not an expert on this stuff. These are just my humble opinions that I just came up with off the top of my head, honestly. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about it in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.